You know what I mean? And so whenever you're mentoring someone, and even adults, when someone's mentoring you, you never forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're older, when they're in their 20s, it's going to go with them, and hopefully, and I feel like they will pay it forward.
Each day at Wesley Meadows is a new opportunity to serve older adults and reimagine retirement living. It is the heart of their mission that inspires their team to provide the kind of fun atmosphere and care residents would want for themselves. Experience the warm spirit and faith-based difference of Wesley Meadows. Call 662-429-2070 and schedule your visit today. Hello and welcome to the Real Hernando, presented to you by Wesley Meadows Retirement Community and SRP Studios, a digital content production agency. This podcast spotlights Hernando's organizations, community leaders, and ministries by sharing their stories and what led them to serve this community. Please follow us at therealhernando.com for all channels and social media platforms. I am your host, Derek, and today we are spotlighting the Hope Center of North Mississippi. The Hope Center is a registered nonprofit with a 501c3, and its ongoing mission is to mentor and empower at-risk youth in North Mississippi, focusing on 3rd through 12th grades, and provide a safe place to play, learn, and grow. The Hope Center endeavors to come alongside our youth to encourage, strengthen, and build character so they can become life-giving adults and productive citizens in their families and our communities. For more information, please visit HopeCenter1USA.com. That's the digit 1. HopeCenter1USA.com. Now, joining me today is founder of Hope Center, account executive for Vertava Health, author, and my friend, Stacy Dodd.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Stacy? How are you?
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. Between me and my friend Coach Camp's podcast, you've been in here several times.
I have. I feel pretty comfortable.
And I believe the podcast I'm referring to is Motivate with Coach Camp. Check it out, motivatewithcoachcamp.com. You've been on it twice. I believe your first time on touched on Hope Center and Vertava. So I know it might feel like you're telling me the same story over again, but this is a different audience. And I'm sad that it's taken this long to get you on here because I think everyone knows Stacy Dodd. And but we're going to reach out to the ones that don't and introduce you to them.
Good.
Sound good?
Yes, sir. Sounds real good.
All right. So, so let's talk about, let's jump into the Hope Center and what your role is and what it serves and its purpose.
Yeah, so the Hope Center, so we were founded in 2000, at the end of 2014, the idea came about, and I got a call from one of our county supervisors. Actually, it was Lee Caldwell that actually had called a friend of mine that I went to church with, and they were looking for something we could do in Horn Lake, actually, to try to, help the youth and different things like that. And through a series of conversations and different things, I had a business plan that I had put together. It was a for-profit. And after my conversation with Lee that day, I, on my way home, God just kind of spoke to me and said, hey, you need to make that for-profit and turn that into a 501. I learned we didn't have any community center or anything like that back then. And so that's when the dream was born. And
what year was this again?
Back in 2000, in the end of 2015.
Okay.
And the initial idea was to have like a gym or a building. And, it started out as wanting land and different things like that. And God just really took a whole took us in a different direction. And so, I had a man show up in my office, one day at Vertava. I was just working and I got a call, said, Roy's at the front desk. And I'm like, Roy who? And it was a man named Roy Ray. He's a retired Army colonel.
Okay.
And he just showed up in my office unannounced. And I'm like, well, I wonder what he wants, and he came to sit down in my office and he said, we're looking for organizations like yours. We had been up and running for about a year doing events in Horn Lake. And he said, we're looking for organizations like yours to become a Memphis Grizzlies affiliate, the mentorship program. He was very involved with the Rotary and different things.
It just comes out of nowhere, right?
He just showed up.
Or did God send him, right?
Actually, the call that we got, the call that I got from my church friend, that had gotten a call from Lee. I got that call. I didn't make it. I got the call. And then this man showed up at the office, showed up at my office. And just, look back on it, it's like, whenever you get the call, you pay close attention when you get the call. You know what I mean? When you don't make the call, you actually get the call.
Yeah.
And so literally the very next morning at 8 a.m., I had an email in my inbox saying that you all are Memphis Grizzlies affiliates with the National Mentoring Program. And so what that means is, Memphis Grizzlies is the hub for the National Mentoring Program. So this is a national program that's in every state, and it's called Mentor. And
Memphis is the hub?
The Memphis Grizzlies is the hub for Tennessee.
Okay.
And so they host it. So the Mentor, the National Mentoring, Executive Leadership Team equips the Memphis Grizzlies in Tennessee, that their mentoring team, and then they in turn equip over 55 other programs. So I always wanted the Hope Center to be up there with the streets and the boys club and everything. And we just, this last year in 2023, we became a silver affiliate. Had to go to trainings. I did 300 hours worth of trainings last year alone with the Memphis Grizzlies mentorship leadership team, executive leadership team. And we advanced from bronze to silver level. So what that means is, they audit everything that we're doing. It's like a certification, and we submit recertifications, make sure that we're monitoring, doing background checks, matching, and there's the elements of effective practice, elements of effective mentoring. We call it EEP, EEM. But there's so much more to mentoring than just having a conversation.
But this happened early, right?
It happened early, and it took a long time to go to the trainings, to build the trust. We were doing events in the gyms. Verena Hopper, Laura Taylor, Debbie King, a lot of the chamber ladies came along beside us and supported us. And, just everybody just kind of supported us. The school board, we were able to use the gyms and different things. And so everyone in the community just supported us. You know what I mean? They were just like, showed us favor. We didn't have a lot of finances. Finances were the biggest barrier in the beginning. Not a lot of people really came forward with finances or things like that. In the beginning, it was a struggle. I mean, there was a day where I was sitting in the school. We had an event and hardly anyone showed up, and I had a tear coming down my eye. I mean, I was sad, but we didn't give up. I felt like that 100% that God called us to it, and I wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to give up. Recently, through we've been doing it a little over 8 years now, and God really blessed us in 2020.
Come a long way.
In 2023, God opened the floodgates of heaven.
Very nice. You were mentioning in the pre-show that y'all won some awards this year.
Yeah.
But I want to bridge to that with putting the kids next.
Okay.
What are they getting? What experience are they getting, and what are some of the reasons why they need the Hope Center? So the Hope Center
it's definitely a different model, and it's not what we started out doing. When we started out, we just wanted to have a bunch of kids in the gym and just give them a safe place to go and feed them. I mean, it started out kind of like a community event, block party, open gym. That's what it started.
Here's some basketballs.
Here's a basketball, pieces coming in. We're going to pray over the food. We're going to talk a little bit, and then just have a good time, and you're safe and you're having fun. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. But through our time with the Memphis Grizzlies Foundation, we were trained, and still, I was in a training yesterday, up until, we go through ongoing trainings with the Memphis Grizzlies Foundation. Mm-hmm. So the foundation is the one that funds everything in Tennessee. And there's 55 programs, like I said, that like the YMCA, the Streets Ministries, there's 55 programs that are funded through the Memphis Grizzlies Foundation. But they don't just give you something. They don't just say, oh, here's a big gift. You have to go to trainings. You have to do certifications. You have to show them that you're doing background checks. You have to show them that you're doing the one-to-one mentoring. You have to show them that you're documenting. Mm-hmm. There's even a thing called closure when the relationship ends, when either someone moves on. I mean, there's so many really important details to mentoring. And the National Mentor Team knows that. They're in Detroit, Washington, Dallas. I mean, they're all over the country. And so it's the best mentoring program in the world.
Because you got to be careful with the voices they hear.
That's right.
And being mentored.
That's right. And what are they getting? So what they're getting is, first of all, is a safe place to go. Mm-hmm. Everything's paid for. So when they come to our events, even if the family stays there, they have no cost. Sometimes we go bowling, skating, out to the movies, to the zoo. And then we go out to eat at like Lost Pizza, Huey's. I mean, we just go out and we have a really good time. But we're not, the difference is between us and traditional programs. We're not putting them in a classroom and telling them to sit down. We're not telling them to march or, be quiet or anything like that. It's a whole different model. And so they're getting unconditional love. And not only are they getting it, but they're watching it and they're receiving it. And this year we are moving into we're going to have 4 leadership conferences, youth leadership conferences. So I've scheduled South Haven and in the Lander Center, and then scheduled Hernando. And so I've got the mayors coming in. I've got Sheriff Toggle coming in. I've got some really cool keynote speakers coming in. Some of the top leaders from DeSoto County. And my dream and my vision is to have our youth, especially 6th through 12th graders, in a John Maxwell type leadership conference in a very nice place with a nice served meal, very nice, and have some of our top leaders in the community invest in them. So they're going to hear from Thomas Toggle. They're going to hear from Mayor Musselwhite, Mayor Johnson. They're going to hear from Tina Tatum. They're going to hear from Tiffany Morrow Smith.
Impactful people.
Yeah, Tiffany Morrow Smith from the Reach Memphis Now, which is one that trained us, and talk about what it means to them to be a leader. Why do they lead? Why do we need leaders? And they're going to really be pouring into these kids, and that's just one aspect of what we do.
I believe our friend Coach Camp is
actually going to be at every one of them.
That's right. I love that. I'm going to try to film him at some of these things.
Yeah, he also actually Coach Camp. He just won an award 2 nights ago. He won the Mentoring Hero of the Year for the Hope Center. He won a nice award, and
wow, he did not tell me this.
Well, it was on
That's
Facebook.
Great. I guess I've been in a tunnel. I've been in tunnel vision.
Well, Coach Camp comes out. So every time we do a meeting, so one of our events might be, we might go to Strike Zone Bowling, and then we go down to Lost Pizza. And so we spend maybe from 11 a.m. to 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And at a certain point, we have speakers and we have a topic like maybe integrity or honesty or influence, or example. And Coach Camp comes out and speaks to our kids. And they look forward to it. They love it. He's all fired up, and they're like, they love him. He's been the most incredible addition to our team.
Just high energy,
and always something that's been thought about, and always something that's means something to the kids.
He's great with the youth. He connects. He's been a youth sports coach for years and years and years.
He's a professor. I found out recently. Hey, he's a professor. I'm like, I didn't know you were a professor. It's like,
But enough of Coach Camp, right? Coach, you watching? Right? Okay, we've talked about you enough. No, he's a good friend of ours. But let's go back to the kids.
Okay.
So now we know what they're getting and what's offered to them and the benefits of that. But why do they need it? Like, what kind of upbringing are we dealing with here? What are some of the reasons why they need safe space and unconditional love and opportunities to communicate with other kids? What's going on in their lives to make this be a need?
Yeah, just to be extremely transparent, our culture today is not good. Some parts of it are, some places are, but the most part, our culture is not healthy. It's not safe. It's not something they need to be exposed to on a regular basis at a young age, because many times they haven't learned how to deal with peer pressure. Many times they haven't learned how to deal with bad influences. And so what we do is we invest in them and we talk to them. One of the things we learned this past year was about the importance of the one-to-one relationship. The one-to-one relationship is what mentoring is all about. And so we're not Santa Claus. We're not an ATM. We don't interfere with parenting. But we are like a counselor, a coach. We're someone that they can bounce ideas off of. And we make sure they've thought about this and they've thought about this. And we just walk through life with them as a friend. But today's culture, you have gangs, you have drugs running rampant, and it's in your schools, whether you think it is or not, or whether you want to acknowledge it or not. It's here. I mean, it's here. It's all over DeSoto County. It's all over. And, there's many reasons for that. But these kids are exposed to things. Some of the kids that we get, like for instance, I built a really good relationship with Youth Villages. And so Youth Villages has a new office here in Hernando. I don't know how new it is, but it's new to me. I started going in there about a year ago, and maybe 8 months ago. And But whenever they have a single mother or a grandmother that's raising their grandchildren by themselves, they come in. And so the youth villages sends them to us, and I invite them to our events. I put them on our group chat, and I get them to our events, and they love it. Actually, the grandmothers love it. Many of them are raising their kids. I've gotten 3 grandmothers in the last 2 months that have 3 grandchildren each that they've adopted, so they didn't go into foster care. And so you have a grandmother that's trying to raise 3 young children. And so when they come to the Hope Center, everything that they get to do that day is paid for, number one. They have a great, safe activity on a Saturday to go do. They make new friends. We had our Christmas party last night or 2 nights ago in a tequila restaurant, actually upstairs. It was the only place I could find upstairs. But it was a great event. I think we had maybe 70 kids and family members. We gave away awards. We did vision casting. We talked about all of our awards last year. And the grandmothers and the families love it. I mean, they are actually making friends while they're there. And it's just a great thing.
Well, they see how positive it is, because parenting is hard. If you're a grandparent, there's those limitations. But then even average age parents are working. It's hard to be there for them constantly. Right. But knowing that they have this platform and organization they can go to get not only that unconditional love, but teaching and then showing examples of success, and highlighting their successes with awards, that must really be inspiring to them.
Yeah, Mr. McKinney, he's been my partner since we started this thing back in 2014, 15. And he's a principal at Hope Sullivan. He's actually up for principal of DeSoto's best principal. He's up for that category this year. And but anyway, he relates to them very well. All of our team really relates to them very well. I also work with people with addiction. I help people with recovery, right? And one of the things that I learned through that in my own story as well, a lot of times people don't listen to their family. Okay. And the family's not doing anything wrong. It has nothing to do.
Come on, Mom.
They just don't want to listen to their family. So when you get a total stranger that comes in and just befriends them and just becomes their friend, I mean, they never forget it. And some of the things that they say, like have my mentee, his grandmother, it's a long story. I don't have time to tell you right now, but his grandmother says, boy, they really love you. But I can't tell it. They just look at me like, sometimes they look at me like they think I'm crazy, like a lot of people do. But the grandmother says they love you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so whenever you're mentoring someone, and even adults, when someone's mentoring you, you never forget that. Yeah. When they're older, when they're in their 20s, it's going to go with them, and hopefully, and I feel like they will pay it forward.
5M Services, your comfort specialists. We offer heating, ventilating, and air conditioning service. Call us for any of your HVAC needs. 662-560-7331. We are here for you 24/7. I think, getting it from a parent, or even as an adult, getting it from a family member, you take it with a grain of salt. You're like, okay, whatever, Mom, But when a coach is saying it, it almost validates, oh, well, if he's saying he's dealing with this struggle and that's his solution, I don't know. There's more validity in it, I think. And then you're like, okay, someone else is dealing with this. So what I'm experiencing is real, and that option is the right option to take, even though your family told you already. No, yeah, we've been telling you that's the option. Right? So these kids are just sponges, right? They're just ready to be.
They actually are. Yeah. And extremely talented. Most of them have been through a lot. And so the littlest things mean a lot to them. Many of them have seen us not give up with the Hope Center Dream. They've seen us not give up, and, when times got tough, but
they're watching you firsthand.
They do. They watch very closely everything we do. Yeah. And
if something gets canceled,
they hold us accountable.
Like,
they're going to want to know why. Honestly, and you know how kids are. They're going to say what's on their mind.
But they love it. They're taking ownership.
They do,
whether they even realize it or not. What? Why did it get canceled Saturday?
Yeah. Well, my dream, my vision now, as recent vision has come, that in 2024, the Hope Center will be a mentee-led organization. I'm going to teach them how to file the 501. I'm going to teach them how to do the finances, because everything's transparent. The finances. There's nothing about the Hope Center that's not transparent, that I couldn't show anybody. And so I'm going to teach them. We're going to teach them everything from social media to marketing with the chambers. We're going to teach them the finances, the budget, how to plan an event, how to file the
That's
paperwork
great.
with the Secretary of State. I'm going to teach them how to run it, and I'm going to use our organization to do that.
The next
That's one of the
generation,
goals.
yeah, it's like a family business.
It is.
So you're gonna teach the youngins to keep it moving forward for you.
Yeah.
But I love that. That is. I mean, talk about giving them an opportunity to aspire to. I want to be involved with this. There might be some kids that you wouldn't think because of maybe they're kind of quiet and meek, but in their mind and heart, they're probably absorbing this.
And the Grizzlies, being an affiliate with the Grizzlies, they have unlimited trainings. They do poetry, and they do book clubs. They do the National Mentoring Summit in Washington, D.C. Not to mention the free Grizzlies tickets and different things like that we get from being an affiliate with them. But they offer intense trainings, intense workshops. They do a summit every year in downtown Memphis. It's just, that partnership is priceless. Being equipped by people, in life, if we learn from the best,
you're going to be the best.
It doesn't matter what you're talking about. If you want to get good at it, you have to find someone that's good at it and follow them around. And I've been following the Grizzlies around for about 7 years.
Have they kind of been mentoring you?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Ask them, they'll tell you.
So that's why you want the best mentors, because that way your mentees get the best.
Yeah, Tiffany Morrow Smith is now with Reach Memphis, but Tiffany Morrow Smith kind of took us under her wing. And it was because I was at every training for years. And last year, we actually moved from bronze to silver. And that's when you start getting grants. You can become a grantee. Cool. And you don't just automatically get grants. You have to fill out You have to fill out certifications, and you have to, do the grants. You have to write the grant and different things like that, the request. And the Tiffany, and then Caroline Simmons was working with Tiffany. And so over the last 5 years, I've spent a lot of time with Tiffany and her trainings, and we do a lot of role playing. Her favorite teaching method is role playing. And when I first met her, I was like, oh my God, we're going to role play again. But now it's like, she built me up. I know about mentoring. But I was taught by one of the best. I've learned from probably one of the best in the United States. And right here in downtown Memphis. But I had to take the time to go. I had to go to the trainings,
Well, it's paid off.
It has.
Because I've seen you grow. Personally, but also 2023 was when the skies opened and recognition came in, correct?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the awards that y'all won this year.
So in 2022, I won the mentor from the Memphis Grizzlies Foundation, the Mentoring Advocate of the Year. And there were a lot of nominees in there, like from the streets and the boys club. And I was not planning on winning. I couldn't even believe I got nominated, but actually won that award. Got another award for doing the full elements training, the 270 hours. That was in 2022. Recently, something before the next award was, so they've had me as a co-facilitator for their elements trainings. So I've been actually facilitating the Grizzlies mentorship trainings. So not just sitting at the desk being a part of it, but they've got me up there like facilitating the trainings, which is
getting you more involved.
It's a big deal. And like always, I'm no good at it when I get up there, and I never feel like I'm qualified to do what I get called to do, but I'm not going to say no. I'm going to step up and do it. And if I mess it up, I'm just going to keep going. And
sir, you've been doing it for years too.
That's right.
It's not unnoticed, the amount of different things that you do to help various communities.
Well, that was a big thing last year to be asked to co-facilitate, because I always looked at them. They were my heroes, Yeah. And I like the streets ministries and different things like that. But anyway, so in 2023, in July, we were named the Chick-fil-A Community Champions. And that was with WMC TV5 and Chick-fil-A, which is a big deal. They highlight you the whole month on WMC TV5, and they talk about your program. They show pictures and, kind of tell everybody what you're doing. And then just a few weeks ago, we were, I won the Nonprofit Leader of the Year for the South Haven Chamber of Commerce, which was a nominee, nominated by the people and chosen by the people of South Haven, which was really a big honor.
Well deserved.
Oh, well, thank you. Was not planning, didn't think I would win that either. I never think I'm going to win anything, but being nominated is big for us. And for me, it, gives us that, it gives the organization that exposure. And then most recently, we made it into the top 5 of the DeSoto's Best, for the best charity. So that was 3 or 4 awards. Then something else that happened big in 2023, our relationship with Brown Baptist Church, Brown Missionary Baptist, has been very critical. They were our founding sponsor back in 2015. I met Pastor Orr, and I'd known him about 8 minutes, and he agreed to help us for 3 years, and through installments, and helped us. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here right now. And about 2 years ago, I met a man named Eric Williams, and Eric Williams is the COO for Brown Baptist, Chief Operating Officer, and he and I became really good friends through the chamber and just doing events in the community. Just a phenomenal human being, phenomenal Christian man, phenomenal leader, just a great person. And we became really close. And he connected us this last year in 2023 with the Mississippi Juvenile Justice Department. And so we were asked to come to Biloxi, Mississippi, to the Golden Nugget Casino for the 44th annual Mississippi Juvenile Justice Symposium. So we had to submit our resumes, and Mr. McKinney and I got to travel down to Biloxi and actually present our program to the whole entire symposium, and talk about how we do what we do, why we do what we do. And it was a really big honor to do that. And we know that there's things going to come from that, support from the state. All the people that have funding across the state were there.
Yeah, the blessing is just giving you more visibility and reach in front of new people in new areas, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just been phenomenal. And this community has just been, I mean, you can't even explain it, what's happened since we started. But God has provided every step of the way. And he took us from what we thought we wanted to what he wanted us to have. And that's the way God is. And it's all his. I mean, it's his anyway. It's not mine. I don't own the Hope Center. It's the kids. And I tell them all the time, like we gave them certificates and T-shirts and a little Christmas gift the other night. And I told them, this is not from Stacy Dodd. Mm-hmm. This is from the Hope Center. This is from donations, right? Because that's the kind of thing we're taught through the Grizzlies. We're taught that we're not like the savior for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we study things like cultural humility, cultural competence, and we struggle that. We study those things at our trainings, because if I'm going to impact a culture, I have to know about that culture. And I also have to understand that my culture is not, you know what I mean? I have to know about my culture, I have to know about their culture, but I also have to know how to relate to them and how to reach them. So there's no misconception about who I am and why I'm doing what I do. Yeah. But if you don't know about cultural humility, it's an incredible topic. And, we study those things like lionizing. There's all these really great things that come from the National Mentoring Program. And when you study those things, it helps you be a better person, but it also helps you relate. You have to be able to communicate with
connect.
Them. Yeah. In addiction, I'm really good at communicating with the broken. Yeah. Because I used to be broken,
You're
but
part
also
of the culture, or in your history wasn't.
I work with thousands of people in addiction recovery all the time. I mean, on a weekly basis. And so when I work with kids,
that's with Vertava, right?
That's with Vertava Health, yeah, and it's you have to know how to communicate with whoever it is that you're trying to reach. If you can't communicate with them, they're not going to trust you, and you're not going to be able to build a relationship. So you have to be able to be where they are. You have to know about what's going on in our culture. You have to know about you have to be up to date. You
got to stay up with the times.
If you don't, you're so far behind. You will wake up one day and you'll be so far behind. And that's one of the things about our model. Our mentoring model not only is in perfect timing or in check with the national mentoring model, but we're also up to date with the times.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about Ja Morant. Like we talk with the kids about Ja Morant. We talk about what's going on and all the things, and we use those topics to talk to them and hear what they think about it, and also instill in them integrity, instill in them making right decisions,
and giving them a voice too.
That's right.
Give us your feedback.
That's right. We do have a thing that we use at most of our events. It's called the Youth Advisory Council. And so what that means is we have some of our older students and they get on a panel, and we have a microphone.
Yeah.
And the topic might be, Ja Morant, Tyree Nichols. It might be gangs. It might be drugs. It might be the war. It can be whatever our topic is for that week. And we talk about it, and we give them the mic, and they get to talk about it. And you would be surprised what they say. And you would be surprised how much more involved they feel, how much more respected they feel. And then they want to be with you because they know that you love them and they know that you respect their opinion, because they know what's going on.
It's a safe space to give your opinion. Yeah.
They know what they face. You know what they tell me?
What's that?
You need to listen to us. They tell me, the kids tell me, you need to listen to us.
Because this is what we see.
Yeah. And then whenever we know what they're feeling, when we know what they're saying, then we can try to help them make wise decisions or help them process those thoughts and help them come out with positive outcomes, and let us know if someone's offering you drugs. Let us know if you're challenged with something. We're here, we're your friends. You can talk to us, and when you do that and you're not like ordering them around and telling them what to do and all that and telling them what they're doing wrong, everybody knows what they're doing wrong.
And we all know what happens when you do it that way.
That's right.
We all
the command and control leadership style has been out for years, and some people still think it's in, but it's been gone for a long time. So anyway.
Well, let's talk about how all of this can be supported. So a nonprofit obviously thrives on, donations, volunteer sponsorships. Let's talk about some of the ways people can get involved in giving to the Hope Center.
Mm-hmm.
So how do sponsorships work?
So if someone wants to be a sponsor, so you can access everything from the Hope Center at Hope Center for the Hope Center at hopecenter1usa.com. Our creative director and also one of our partners, Trish Toomey with Messina Media, she has created an all-inclusive website. If you want to be a mentor, you can go onto that website, read all about what a mentor is. If your child needs a mentee, you can go to that website, learn all about that. If you want to get them signed up, the forms are all there. It's digital. We don't have any paper. You can get all that done. Background checks, everything can be done right there on the website. If you want to give, there's also a donate right there. You can go on. You can give monthly. You can do $25 a month, $100 a month, whatever you want to do. Or
so you can have an automatic withdrawal agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just something to keep in mind when you talk about finances is everything that is donated to the Hope Center goes back into the kids. So I don't have a big building to pay rent for. I don't have a lot of salaries to pay salaries for. I don't have a lot of the overhead. We do use local businesses and we support local businesses. So what that means is if we go to Strike Zone Bowling and Lost Pizza, we just brought them a lot of business that day because we may have 50 to 100 kids in family.
Yeah.
And so the model that we use, we're not just like going into the same building all the time and going into a gym, which the kids would get tired of.
Yeah.
But we're also, they love going to all the different places. And it's actually more economical that way. It's more efficient that way. And it's more exciting that way. And if you don't make things exciting these days, people would rather stay home and scroll on their phone. It's just that simple. So
it's hard to keep their attention.
It is.
Yeah.
And and if you would like to just see what we do, I post on the Hope Center, the Hope Community Center, the Hope Center of North Mississippi Facebook page. Then I also post on my page all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's flyers all the time that says Hope Center. If it says Hope Center, you're invited. Anybody that's listening to this podcast is invited. You don't need a special invitation. Just show up, feel the energy, come see what we're talking about. The other night at our Christmas party, it was overflowing. Love was overflowing. Kids were praying. We had the band from the restaurant came upstairs, it was just the most amazing, magical night. And that's what happens when you follow, the teachings of Christ. That's what happens.
Well, I think that's a perfect spot to wrap this up because I agree with you, sir. It's all in his glory.
It is.
And just when you think you need to go one way, he points you in a different direction. It's all his plan.
Yeah. A little secret that's to end things out. The center of hope is Christ.
Is that the name?
Hope Center, get it?
No, I do.
Yeah.
Outstanding, man.
And the flame?
I could talk to you for hours.
Yeah.
It'd be so easy to, because I just find you as very fascinating. And I don't know where you find the extra hours in the day to do all the things you do, but doesn't go unnoticed. Everyone follows you. Everyone knows you around here. We know what you've been through, and what you're doing with your life now is and very inspiring.
Well, I love you guys. I love Coach Camp. I love you. I love this community. I love it. There's so many people. I couldn't thank them all.
Yeah.
But this community is amazing. And anything you want to do in this community, all you have to do is ask.
And look, this community supports this podcast. I can cap it off with that. This podcast doesn't exist, not only with the support and now having advertisers on it. So yeah, that the community, Hernando businesses are doing it that way. But the podcast doesn't exist without having quality people to spotlight, right? That's the foundation of this podcast, and you're a part of that foundation now. So I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you having me.
Yes. So, and now thank you to the listeners too, and the viewers. Thank you for engaging and liking our posts and sharing our posts. We do appreciate that. If you're interested in learning more, go to therealhernando.com. There you can find our links to Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors that you heard throughout this episode. You can check out their page, click the sponsor link, the sponsor tab on the website. Then on there, you find their logo and you can click through to their website. So I encourage you to patronize them as best you can. And that's it. So thanks again for watching and listening. And until next time, have a great day.